Few artists have shaped the modern art world like Andy Warhol. With his Campbell's soup cans, Marilyn Monroe portraits, and daring experiments in film, music, and celebrity culture, Warhol blurred the line between fine art and popular culture. But Warhol wasn't just an artist, he was a phenomenon. His exhibitions became cultural events, drawing crowds who wanted not only to see art, but to witness the spectacle of Warhol himself. Decades after his passing in 1987, Warhol's work continues to headline blockbuster shows around the globe, attracting millions of visitors. Today, we're exploring the most iconic Andy Warhol art exhibits, the shows that defined his career and continue to shape his legacy. The Ferus Gallery, Los Angeles, 1962. The birth of pop. It all began in 1962 at the Ferus Gallery in Los Angeles. Warhol's first solo exhibition featured his now iconic Campbell's soup cans. At the time, it shocked the art world. Why would anyone paint soup cans? But that was the point. Warhol turned consumer goods into fine art, challenging traditional ideas of what belonged in a gallery. The show was small, just 32 canvases, each one a different flavor of soup, but it marked the birth of pop art as a movement. Critics were divided, but history proved Warhol right. That little gallery in LA launched him into international fame. Stable Gallery, New York, 1964. The Brillo boxes. 2 years later, Warhol shook the art establishment again with his Brillo boxes exhibition at the Stable Gallery in New York. Instead of canvases, the gallery was filled with wooden replicas of supermarket boxes, Brillo soap pads, Kellogg's Corn Flakes, and Heinz ketchup. For some, this was genius. For others, it was scandalous. Was this even art? Warhol's boxes questioned originality, authorship, and the very meaning of creativity. They blurred the line between factory production and fine art, perfectly fitting his idea of the factory, the nickname for his studio, where assistants helped produce his work. This show solidified Warhol as the king of pop art, the artist who turned everyday products into icons. Moderna Museet, Stockholm, 1968. International superstar. In 1968, the Moderna Museet in Stockholm hosted Warhol's first major European retrospective. The exhibition, simply titled Andy Warhol, featured more than 100 works, including his silkscreens of Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, and Jackie Kennedy. The catalog for the show included one of Warhol's most famous quotes: "In the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes." That line became a prophecy for our celebrity-obsessed culture. The exhibit was wildly successful, establishing Warhol not just as an American icon, but as an international superstar. Europe embraced his mix of glamour, consumerism, and irony, setting the stage for decades of global exhibitions. Whitney Museum of American Art, New York, 1971. Retrospective. By 1971, Warhol had already transformed contemporary art. The Whitney Museum's retrospective was the first major institutional recognition of his career. The show presented his Campbell's soups, celebrity portraits, and screen tests alongside his experiments in film and music. Visitors saw not just paintings, but an entire universe of Warholian creativity. This exhibit confirmed what the world already suspected. Warhol wasn't just a trend. He was a major force in 20th century art. Museum of Modern Art, New York, 1989. Posthumous tribute. After Warhol's death in 1987, the Museum of Modern Art mounted Andy Warhol, a retrospective in 1989. It featured more than 400 works, covering every aspect of his career, from his commercial illustrations to his iconic silkscreens, films, and photographs. The show was one of the largest exhibitions MoMA had ever staged, drawing enormous crowds. For many visitors, it was both a celebration and a farewell. It showed just how deeply Warhol had influenced art, fashion, film, and even advertising. Tate Modern, London, 2002. Andy Warhol. In 2002, the Tate Modern in London hosted one of the most comprehensive Warhol shows in Europe. Simply titled Andy Warhol, it focused on his ability to bridge high and low culture. The exhibition highlighted his fascination with fame, consumerism, and death. Marilyn's and Elvis's hung alongside his Darker Death and Disaster series, which included images of car crashes, electric chairs, and news photos of racial violence. This show reminded audiences that Warhol wasn't just about glamour and soup cans. He was also a chronicler of America's anxieties and tragedies. Whitney Museum, New York, 2018 to 2019. Andy Warhol, From A to B and Back Again. One of the most celebrated recent Warhol exhibitions was the Whitney's 2018 to 2019 retrospective, From A to B and Back Again. It was the largest Warhol show in the US since 1989, with over 350 works on display. The exhibition highlighted not just the classic pop images, but also Warhol's lesser-known experiments with abstraction, his late self-portraits, and his collaborations with artists like Jean-Michel Basquiat. Critics praised it for giving a fuller picture of Warhol, not just as a pop artist, but as a deeply complex figure who blurred boundaries between art, celebrity, and identity. The Tate Modern, London, 2020. Andy Warhol Revisited. In 2020, the Tate Modern once again revisited Warhol with a major exhibition, featuring his Marilyn's, Portraits, and his monumental 60 Last Suppers. It also explored his identity as a gay, Catholic, immigrant artist navigating fame in America. The show humanized Warhol, reminding audiences that behind the silver wigs and factory persona was someone grappling with questions of faith, mortality, and belonging. Why these exhibits matter. Each of these exhibitions showed a different face of Andy Warhol. The Ferus Gallery introduced him as a disruptor. The Brillo boxes made him a provocateur. Stockholm made him an international celebrity. The Whitney and MoMA cemented his place in art history. And the more recent Whitney and Tate shows revealed his depth and humanity. Together, they illustrate why Warhol remains one of the most influential artists of all time. He foresaw our world of celebrity obsession, mass media, and viral fame. His factory method of production predicted today's content creation economy. And his belief that art could be both glamorous and political keeps him relevant decades after his death. Andy Warhol didn't just make art, he made culture. His exhibitions, past and present, continue to draw millions because they capture the paradox of modern life: beauty and emptiness, fame and anonymity, consumption and meaning. From soup cans to celebrities, from America to Europe, from the Whitney to Tate Modern, Warhol's work remains as provocative as ever. His exhibits don't just display paintings, they hold up a mirror to who we are. So, which Warhol exhibition would you most want to see in person? The original soup cans in LA, the Brillo boxes in New York, or the massive retrospectives in London and Paris? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories about the artists who changed the way we see the world.